Hi, your child is learning sign language and it's very exciting because they're learning new words and signs every day. But often you're noticing that their sign looks funny or it looks wrong, and you don't understand why they're making these mistakes. So many children, no matter if it's a spoken language or sign language, will make mistakes when they're using a new language or learning a new language. We are going to discuss 3 kinds of mistakes that children will make when they're learning a new language. They're very common for all children. Also, when children are learning sign language and they start to improve, and sometimes they stop and go backward, but they'll always go back and start improving. So the first 3 we're going to talk about is hand-shape markedness. The second one is sympathy. The third one is proximalization. And I will explain all 3 of them. First, we're going to talk about hand-shape markedness, which is about hand shapes. So all signs usually have a hand shape. For example, horse uses an H hand shape, play uses a Y hand shape, and parents uses a 5 hand shape. Now, all of those hand shapes are not the same. Some hand shapes are more difficult than other hand shapes. Like K, R, X, and 7, those are harder hand shapes to make. There are easier hand shapes like 5, B, L, C, and O. And children tend to pick up on easier hand shapes after research was done. But once they continue learning sign language and get older, they will be able to pick up on the harder hand shapes like 7, R, and K. Children will often sign a hand shape like play, but they will change it to an easier hand shape that's less difficult. Like play will become with 5s instead of Ys. Cow is no longer a Y, but an A hand shape, and same with phone. And the color yellow is not a Y hand shape, it's a 5 hand shape. They will always pick the less difficult hand shape and they will change it, which is normal when they're learning sign language. Next, we're moving on to sympathy, meaning both hands are being used at the same time. Many signs use both hands, but some have different hand shapes. For example, cookie. It's a claw and an open 5. Children might find that hard and they don't know how to separate 2 different hand shapes. So they will sign the same hand shape and sign cookie like this. Or they'll flip it and use the same hand at the same time because it's easier. Once they get better at using their hands and understand hand shapes, they will be able to use 2 different hand shapes in one sign. The third we'll talk about is proximalization, which talks about the joints. Like when we're moving our wrist, our knuckles, our fingers. Children don't know how to use their hands, arms, and body properly when it comes to sign language, so they'll move up to an easier joint. Like from the wrist to the elbow and then elbow to the shoulder. For example, horse is using your knuckle, which might be hard for them, so they'll use their wrist and sign horse like this. Another example is fish is with your wrist and they'll move it up to your elbow and sign fish like that. They'll keep moving it up the next joint for the most proximal joint. And that is normal part of sign language. All 3 are common mistakes that children will make when they're learning sign language. I could list more errors that could possibly happen, but they can keep practicing and keep improving. Mistakes are natural when you're learning any language. If you see or you're worried about it, don't worry, because as long as they have a good signing role model that they can look up to, Children will grow and be able to improve on their signing skills, hand shape skills, and everything. They will be able to improve.